Max and Lucy's great escape night fell, and the streets were shining with lights. Max, a small white dog, happily ran around, wagging his fluffy tail. But Max didn't know. Behind him, a big dark shadow was creeping closer. When Max opened his eyes, everything was dark. He was inside a cold metal cage. Around him were more cages, filled with little animals. Max's ears drooped as he listened carefully. In the corner of a cage, a tiny golden cat with bright green eyes curled up. Her name was Lucy. She looked at Max with sad eyes. "You got caught too?" Lucy asked in a tiny voice. Lucy told Max what had happened. A scary-looking man with a wrinkled face had taken them. He was a bad man who stole little animals to sell them. Max looked around. In other cages, he saw a little bird shivering, a bunny hiding in a corner, and a tiny piglet curling up, scared. Suddenly, the warehouse door creaked open. The mean man walked in, frowning at the cages. "Be quiet," he shouted, banging on the cages. The animals trembled. Lucy and Max whispered to each other. "He opens the cages when he gives food. We can escape then," Lucy said. Max nodded. Hope sparkled in their eyes. The next morning, the man came with food. Lucy lay down, her tongue out, pretending to be sick. This cat looks sick," the man mumbled. He hesitated, then opened the cage to check. His big, rough hand reached inside. But whoosh! Lucy jumped up and scratched his face. "Ah!" the man screamed, holding his face. Max leaped and bit his leg. "Ouch! Let go!" the man yelped, hopping on one foot. Then, splash! He slipped on a puddle of water and fell into a big tub. Water splashed everywhere. As he tried to stand up, bam! A flower pot fell from the shelf and hit his head. He tumbled down, dizzy, seeing stars spinning around. Max and Lucy dashed out of the warehouse. "Run!" Max barked. They ran and ran until they reached the outside. The night air was cool and the stars twinkled above. Lucy stopped. "What about our friends? We can't leave them." Max nodded. They looked at each other with brave eyes. Time for a rescue. Under the moonlight, they sneaked back to the warehouse. The mean man was still lying on the floor, snoring loudly. Lucy whispered, "Shh, be quiet." Max nodded. Carefully, they tiptoed inside. Lucy climbed up to the bird's cage. She used her sharp claws to scratch the lock. Click! The door opened. The little bird chirped happily and flapped its wings. Max ran to the piglet's cage. He bit the latch. Snap! The door popped open. But then, grar! The bad man woke up. His eyes were red with anger. "You little brats!" he roared, running toward them. Max, Lucy, and the bird froze in fear, but the piglet took a deep breath and bam! He pushed a big wooden box right into the man's legs. Wow! The man fell backward. Thud! He hit the ground and passed out again. "Piglet, you're amazing!" Lucy cheered. The piglet blushed and wiggled his tiny tail. Without waiting, they all ran outside. The cool night breeze felt wonderful, but they weren't done yet. They had to stop the bad man. A little girl was walking by. She saw the animals and gasped. "Oh no, what happened to you?" Max barked loudly, and the little bird flew in circles, pointing to the warehouse. The girl's eyes widened. "Wait here, I'll get help." Soon, police officers arrived. They ran inside and tied up the bad man. One officer patted Max and Lucy's heads. "You two are very brave. Thanks to you, we caught the bad guy." Lucy giggled. Max wagged his tail happily. The piglet, bird, and all their friends jumped up and down with joy. From that day on, they were safe, happy, and free. And Lucy and Max, well, their adventures were just beginning.